Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, I'm at the new shop. I'm here. I'm back at it. So, I am up at Milex up in Durham, North Carolina. It's on Route 55, I believe it is. I'm new to the area, so I'm still learning everything. I'll get it down pat. So, I got here over the weekend. I got everything set up just this morning. And it's like a pre-setup. I still have to get myself used to the shop and get myself set up the way I need to be and whatnot. But I got everything going so far. So now I'm really working on my first car. I had a Chevy Sonic with a coolant leak that came in, and it's a very obvious hose. And I'm going to show you that in a bit when I actually get the new hoses. I'll show you what I went through and how I figured it out. And it's pretty darn simple. So anyway, what am I working on right now? I have got a 2015 Chevy Impala with a 3.6. Now, when I left Joe and Mo's to come up here, I left all my charging stuff for all my battery-operated tools down there. I still have to go back anyway, but that's in 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, I'm going to be without my battery-operated tools. I mean, I do have chargers at home that I'm going to bring here, but I realized that I forgot them. They weren't in my stuff that I brought here. And I left all my scanning equipment at the house. So I don't have my Snap-on. I don't have my launch scanners. I got 2 of those, actually 3 of them now. But yeah, so I forgot everything. It's just, if my head wasn't attached to my body, I'd forget that too. So I'm kind of a mess here. So anyway, getting on with it. I got this 2015 Chevy Impala, and the customer's complaint is the traction control light comes on, the stability light comes on, the check engine light's on. He says also it feels like the car's dragging, like it just doesn't want to go. All right, so let's take a look and see what's going on. Now, since I forgot my scanner, I borrowed Rob's Autel scanner. I've never used one of these, but it's very similar to the Launch. A little different, but it's very similar. So I already got the vehicle plugged in, so let's do a scan of the vehicle and see what we got. So now, that's the vehicle. All right. Very good. All right. I'm not sure why it did that, but okay. Diagnostics. Auto scan. All right. I'm still dealing with that congestion, but it's a million times better. All right. All right, so let's see. Engine control module fault. It's got 2 of them. Trouble codes. EVAP system large leak. Lost communication with tranny control module. That'll cause a drivability issue. Passed and failed. Last test passed. Ignition passed and failed. No requested. This ignition cycle had passed and failed. Interesting. So I wonder what's going on there. Let's see. Escape. Oop, no. Sorry. No. One thing I hate about touchscreen, sometimes it's very easy to make a mistake. EBCM, let's see what it's got. I say it's going to have the same thing. Training controller, yep. Parking brake, let's see, probably the same thing. Yep. All right. So, U010100. Now, U0101 is a communication fault code. The 00 usually indicates it would be like a 00, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, whatever. That would usually denote specific modules, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Autel may read this slightly differently, but I'm going to have to look up and see what that actually means and go from there. I'm going to clear the codes. I'm going to take it for a quick ride to see what it does and see what I can feel. But this lost communication with the training control module, that's definitely going to be the issue, and I got to see if I can't figure out why it's doing that. So, all right, let me get onto that and see what I can come up with. All right, so I'm in the shop now with the car and looking at it, and I don't see anything off the top of my head that like basically speaks to me, if you know what I mean. Like, everything looks okay. I've checked the wiring harness and stuff like that. I actually did a pin drag test on the connector itself just to see. I pulled it apart. But looking down here, one thing I did notice, if we're looking down, the wiring harness comes up. See it right here? This is actually the harness itself that comes from the training controller. The training controller is actually inside the transmission on these things. It's part of the valve body. So it comes up through here. It was actually wedged in here and right up against the hot lower hose. Now, I've had it where heat comes from like a hose or something like that, or even a cylinder head or whatever, and a wiring harness that's dead up against it can actually get interference from the heat going into the wiring, and it can actually make voltage or EMI or whatever jump from one wire to another. So I don't know if that's the situation. I just moved it over to here so it's out of the way a little bit. I'm going to take it for a road test. I never verified anything on the road test. Now, one thing I did notice, if you look close, see the tag down there? See how new that light looks? And I started looking around and I could see witness marks, and I see clips missing. There's witness marks on like the hood bolt there, or the fender bolt. There's witness marks on the hood bolts. So what exactly is going on, I don't know. The car was in a minor accident. I don't think anything major, because this upper support here wasn't replaced. But it looks like the fans there, they're not factory fans. Those are aftermarket fans. So this thing had some kind of a minor hit, but it didn't hit so far that it drove this back in, drove the fans back into the O2 sensors. So, like I said, I took that connector off. It's a blue one down here, and didn't see anything. And I looked at all the wiring. Doesn't look like anything was hurt. Everything looks okay. So I don't think the accident had anything to do with anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to road test this. There's a cover that goes right here. I took that out. Oh, just so you can see, here's the shop that I'm in now. Well lit, big shop. Say hi, Kirk. That's Kirk. And yeah, so there's only Kirk, myself, and Pablo that work here. So Pablo's an extremely good technician. Very impressive so far. Yeah, so the cover I'm going to leave off right now. I'm going to road test this, and I want to see what this thing is actually going to do. I want to see. I got to see if I can actually duplicate it. If not, I got a funny feeling. I think they refer to it as a Tecum on these things, and that's the valve body. It's a solenoid pack, and it's the training controller all in one assembly, and they are expensive. I don't want to say that's the problem until I can verify that. So let me take this thing on another road test, see what I can find. So I just went on a road test, and it didn't have any drivability issues, but when I finally got back, I went about 12 miles or so. When I got back, I checked, and I have some codes that I didn't have before. So now I'm just curious as to what's going on. Now remember, let me shut the light off. Remember I said before how the U1001 and then the 00, sometimes that means something different or something more specific towards that code. Originally I thought maybe it meant it faces to or brings you to another module. But if you look here, see now that's passed and failed this ignition cycle, but the MIL was not requested, meaning the check engine light was not requested. So here we got a U0109, and it was a lost communication with the fuel pump control module. Then a U0121 passed and failed, and it passed this ignition, didn't request a light, and that was a lost communication with electronic brake control module. And then a U140 with same thing, and that was lost communication with body control module. So, okay, so it looks like we're having an issue on a communication line, but why? All right, so now I'm gonna have to start looking further into this and try to figure out what exactly is going on here. So let me see if I can look with the scanner into freeze frame data and see exactly when things were going south. So that may be a fault of my own. Every code is showing the same thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you look down here, distance since first malfunction, 0. Distance since last malfunction, 0. Ignition cycles with malfunction since first malfunction, 1. So I had the key on. I thought I had cycled it off, and I thought I cleared the codes, but I guess I didn't. Ignition cycles 0. Engine load 0. Engine coolant temperature 140. Map sensor. Engine speed 0. Vehicle speed 0. Mass airflow 0. Engine runtime 0. So I think it was induced by me. So technically I didn't have a problem. The thing ran fine. So I'm going to clear this out again, and I'm going to see if the customer will let me take the car home possibly, and see what we come up with. Yeah, let's go that route and see what happens. Okay, so I actually took this thing home last night. I had errands to run. The customer gave me the approval to do so. And I actually put 110 miles on this thing. I had rerouted that harness. I never had a problem. Nothing. So, was that the problem? I don't know. Should I move the harness back over? You know what? I think I've road tested enough. I zip tied the harness out of the way so it's not wedged in between the lower hose or upper hose, whatever that is. Between that hose and the tranny cooler lines, because that's a lot of heat right there. I'm thinking that was the problem. I can't verify it. I can't say with 100% certainty that that was it. But it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to end this here. I mean, 110 miles. That's a lot of road testing with nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'll let the customer take it and see what they think. Hopefully that was it. I mean, maybe somebody rerouted that harness wrong after this thing was in the accident. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it. This thing was in a minor front end accident, I could tell. I think I did mention that. But yeah, so we're going to leave this one at that. All right. Hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.